Distinguished members of the Academy, my name is Golfhouse, and we're back on the mostly harmless SMP server. When last we spoke, we built a tunnel in the Nether. Since we last spoke, I haven't done a whole heck of a lot on the server. I have dug around that Nether fortress a little bit. I think we may change up the entrance to the Nether fortress from that tunnel, but I spent so much time in the Nether doing that I want to get away from it. I want to get away from the Nether for a little bit. Let's go ahead and get ourselves armed back up again. And I think the time is about right for us to start on the sheep farm. Now we do have a collection of sheep on the server already. It's over here, kind of back behind the mountain, past the chickens, but it's pretty disorganized. You can see here we don't have that many sheep, and people just kind of come along and change the colors of the sheep as they need to. We can do better than that. We can do something a little bit more efficient. And as we've said in previous episodes, if we're going to do a sheep farm, we're going to do it big. So I'll tell you what my plans were, because I wanted it to be near the spawn town, but not in the spawn town, because sheep are great, but they're noisy. They are noisy, noisy, noisy. So what I was going to do was come out here, and you can see I've already kind of extended this road out a little bit, but then I was going to kind of hook to the left here, kind of come down, hey guys, and kind of run the road through here, maybe tear down this little bit of a hill there to kind of get it back out to here, and then take it straight out. But as you can see, we've been beaten to this space here. Babylon Slim has kind of felt bad for our villagers over here. We haven't really worked too much with the villagers, but we do have some. These are guys that were zombie villagers, and we have cured them. And I think we've done a little bit of breeding, but I haven't been too involved in it. And they were a little loud. Did I? Look at that. Let's make it a little bit easier for you to hear me. But they've pretty much been stuck in this block, breeding up and doing their thing. And Babylon Slim feels sorry for them. He wants them to have a home, so he's taken it upon himself to build a little pseudo village here. You see we've got the little churchy thing, we've got a blacksmith's over here. He's going to make a little fake village here. I don't know how he's going to protect them from the zombies when he does this, but I trust his judgment there. So anyway, our little road that we were going to build can probably meet up with this gravel path, and then it comes out here and we'll bring it back up to a road, and bring it kind of around the river and up to this bridge here. Now this bridge belongs to Commander K, one of our non-YouTubing server members. You've probably seen her little winter palace up there in the background of some of my other episodes. We're going to have to go up there and take a look sometime because it's a pretty neat build. But what I'd like to do is have the road come out here. Don't know what happened to my game there. That was interesting. And eventually spit us out here. This little plains area, you can see it's near the spawn village, but not too close to it. I'm going to level this out. We're going to get rid of these lakes, kind of fill them in so that we have a nice level playing field. Might take care of some of this hillside here. In order to do that, I need to be a little bit careful because it's a bit of a ways down. But I'm going to build a enormous sheep farm here, and it's mostly going to be underground. Now my grand plans are to build kind of a ground level here and a descending staircase that goes underground to where the actual sheep are. And then above it, I'm going to build a very impressive sheep temple where the leaders of the sheep brigade uh, figure out what they're going to do, because in case you didn't know, it's really the sheep that run this server, not us. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that in this episode. This project is not going to be a one episode thing. This is going to be one of those multi-part ones, but I think we can at least get started. So we got the lakes filled in, and I was using dirt, but then I realized that if we're going underground, we're probably going to be digging most of that up anyway. So I just put a bunch of cobble down, slapped some dirt on top just in case there are parts of it that we don't reach when we go underground. I've been slowly clearing away this hill here. We've discovered a little bit of an underground lake there, and you can kind of see the encroaching ravine over there. I don't think this or this is going to be a problem though. Um, what is going to be a problem though is resources, because as we said before, as the sun goes down, this is going to be big. And what I'm thinking is a circular structure with a, is it radius or diameter? I believe it's diameter. With a diameter, I was an English major. Math's not my strong point. A diameter of 36 blocks. So if you imagine a circle that's 36 blocks this way and 36 blocks that way, it's going to be pretty big. How big? Well, it's going to look a little bit like that. These are this is kind of the cross radius diameter. I don't know. Somebody who's a math nerd, tell me what this would be. If this was a giant circle, what are these lines? I guess they're two sets of diameters, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, uh, the problem that I've got here is that this has used up pretty much all of the oak wood that I have. I'm down to 3 pieces. Now the final design is not going to be entirely made out of oak wood. I would like to use something a little bit more regal. I'm thinking nether quartz, but I am not bringing a bunch of nether quartz out here until I have at least a rough outline of the farm and some semblance of an idea of what it is I'm doing. So that's going to mean that I need a lot of blocks. In fact, according to the little internet resource thing that tells you how to make circular things out of a game that's full of squares, I'm going to require 100, or not 120, 1,020 of these things. That is going to be a bit of an undertaking since right now I have 3. So what I've done, I've gone ahead and I've gotten myself some saplings. I've got some bones here that we're going to meal up, and I'm going to go plant some trees. I'm not going to make you sit through that though. I'll come back when I'm done, and once we have the supplies to do this, maybe we can get started actually building it. I've gone ahead and I've planted my 32 saplings, and I was just getting ready to hit them with the bone meal when I realized my axe only has 75 hits left on it. That's not going to get us very far. I would make a diamond pickaxe, but we've only got 4 diamonds left at the base, and I feel a little bit weird about using 3 of them on such a grindy tool like an axe. So I was going to make some iron pickaxes, because if you get unbreaking on one of those, then it can usually last you a fair amount of the way through a project like this. I just wish I had a good place around here to do some enchanting. Oh yeah, that's right. We totally have a place where we can go and do some enchanting. So I'm gonna go back to our Skelly farm. We've got 36 levels right now, which means we can actually knock off, I think, let's see, 36. We can probably knock off a couple of level 30 enchants before we even have to get involved with the Skelly spawner here. So let's go ahead and make our way in here. Oop, I'm going to need to break that down, aren't I? Let's get the 9 lapis out. And I've gone ahead and made 3 iron axes. Unbreaking, that's exactly what we want. If we get efficiency too, that's a bonus, but unbreaking is really what we're looking for. Oh wow, efficiency 4, unbreaking 3, and fortune 3. That fortune is going to be pretty much worthless, but the efficiency and unbreaking are top notch. So let's go ahead and do that again. Efficiency 4 and unbreaking 3. Awesome. So these two pickaxes are great. We're at 30 levels. We can do this one more time. Are we going to go 3 for 3 here? Efficiency 4? Just efficiency 4. We'll hold on to that one. With these two guys, we may not even need to use this one. We may be able to hold on to it until we get some unbreaking on a book or something that we can put on that too. So now that we have appropriate tools for the job, now we can get to bone mealing. A couple dozen saplings and almost a stack of bone meal later, we've managed to get ourselves 17 apples. If this were a UHC, we'd be rocking and rolling. We also managed to get ourselves 17 stacks of oak wood planks. These three were already there. So I think we've got enough materials to go ahead and turn our X into a bright, beautiful oak wood circle. It'll be better at the end, I promise you. In the last episode, we did a time lapse to do a similar kind of grindy build, and I really had a good time doing that time lapse. So I thought I might do the same thing here. So let's go ahead and load ourselves up with some of this wood, and let's get to lapsing. The more observational amongst you probably knew that something like this was going to happen based on the large amounts of colored wool that I was carrying around with me in the first half of this video. We did go ahead and put a giant sheep head in because, well, giant sheep head. So the next thing that we need to do is make a pathway down into the first layer of what is going to be our enormous sheep farm. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out about here, and we're going to make it 4 wide. If I make it 4 wide there, yeah, that'll be fine. I keep going back and forth with myself as to whether this is too big or not big enough, which means at the end of the day it's probably just fine. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to have a bit of a spiral staircase kind of coming down. Let's actually start it right about here. something like that, and then maybe having it curve in like that as we go around the spiral. Now, in order to make sure that I keep this lined up right, I'm probably going to have to do something like this, where, let me pick up that wood, I'll need that later, something where we come in like this. I don't have a shovel on me anymore, so we'll just kind of dig down a little bit and dig down about that far. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe 9 blocks down. That sounds about right. Just so that as we're going around the corners, we know exactly where this border is. So let me go ahead and get that started, and we'll get this first little bit done. But first, it's time to go to sleep. So this project is taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to. As usual, I've grossly underestimated the amount of work to put in for this. My ultimate goal is to have 4 layers down under us here, each layer holding 4 different types of sheep. As of right now, we have 1. So if we come down here, you can see I got a little carried away with the pink here, the shiny pink stuff. I don't know if I'm going to keep that. I may change it up a little bit, but I kind of like this little pattern that we've got going on here. And then when we come down the helix, we've got our openings here. My sounds are turned up, aren't they? Oh yeah. Let's do that. Perfect. I got some grass down here. I silk touched some grass and got it down here, got it well lit, and everything is ready to go for the sheep here. And then it kind of repeats itself over here. I've had a little bit of a hard time. Yeah, there's no way that I could do a project of this magnitude and not screw something up. So while the upper layer is a nice perfect circle, down here I think it's not. I think there's a couple of places where we've kind of botched up the job a little bit. But you know what? It looks good from here, so we're going to roll with it. So on this first layer is where the sheep that I will probably end up using the most be. I'm thinking probably the white, black, and the 2 gray sheep will be up here. And then I'll come up with some kind of interesting pattern along this wall and that wall over there and maybe those walls, so that as you're coming down the ramp, you can see, oh yeah, this is the level with those sheep. And if that's not the color you want, you come on down to the second layer. And the second layer you're going to see looks like a construction zone, because it still is. I've obviously still got a lot of mining to do to get all this taken care of. This is going to take a while. I'm also a big fan of happy accidents in design, and I think these trees are one of those. I pretty much grew these trees around here just to get the wood for this build, but as I've been looking around, I kind of like the pattern. So I think once we're done and we have no more need for the wood, I'll probably cut these trees down, move them back a little bit, maybe about 4 or 5 blocks in each direction, so it doesn't crowd the platform that much. And then I'm going to try to force some of these giant oak trees to grow, because some of these big ones are really impressive, and they really lend a sense of gravitas to this build. So I think that's going to just about do it for this episode on the Mostly Harmless SMP server. I think we've gotten plenty of work done. There's still a lot to do. I'm going to try to get as much of this done off camera as I can, so that when you and I visit again, we'll have some significant progress. And then maybe we can actually work on migrating some sheep over here. I don't know if we're going to liberate some of the sheep from some of the kind of ghetto farms that we have, or if we're going to go out into the wild and find some that way. But one way or another, we're going to get our sheep farm done, we're going to get our sheep farm filled, and then we're going to be making this world a much more colorful place. If you've liked this video, go ahead and click the like button. If you've really liked it, go ahead and click the subscribe button. If you like me, stalk me on social media. I'm darn near everywhere. And until next time, my name is Golfhouse. This has been Mostly Harmless. It's an honor just to be nominated.